to WiDS Livermore, and you may have, if you've been to a WiDS event before, you may notice there's some new branding for the Women in Data Science Worldwide. It's a new organization this year. They promote events around the world, just like what we're experiencing here, hundreds of them. How many for you, is it your first time attending WiDS Livermore? Oh, a lot of you. Well, welcome. Very happy to have you here. We also have a number of people online as well. And just out of curiosity, how many of you attended our WiDS Datathon a couple of weeks ago? I saw some of the organizers here. Excellent. We'll hear more about that from Mary later. So if you've looked at the agenda for today, we have a lot of talks, panels, mentoring sessions, and our very first poster session. And for the first time, we're also not live streaming the WiDS Stanford event. Their event was held last week. So I hope you really get a chance to connect and get to share about your research interests. Garen gave us a quick intro to the venue. I'll just add a few more items. If at any point you feel like you have another meeting you might need to attend or a side conversation, there are hoteling offices across the way. Please feel free to make use of that. And also there's swag where the food room is. If you haven't noticed, there are stickers and information about Livermore careers if you're interested. And also there is a overflow room. We might reach that point. We had a lot of signups today. And so if you find that this room is too full, there's a room quite raised on the north side. And you're going to be able to hear the event from all the rooms and watch. And here are a few items. Garen already mentioned some of these. So, right, 2 doors on the side. Reminder for Livermore employees, we're not on site. Don't wear your badge. We want to be able to take pictures of the event. Also, please wear your name tag for WiDS. And here's another note that surprised me. Your personal devices, you're allowed to make recordings here at the EC site. We'll be recording all day long. And yeah, the room is live. So your conversations can be heard in other rooms. There is a sticker. Some of you may be wearing them. If you don't want to be photographed, you can opt out. Please avoid sensitive information. Organizing committee for WiDS. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm one of them. You know where to get help. And we'll be monitoring the Zoom chat. So if anyone online has questions, please let us know. And we'll try to watch out for that. So we have some WiDS virtual backgrounds if you want to help us advertise that this event happened, or you just want to continue showing it in your virtual meetings. Here's the website for WiDS. And if any of you want to go check out where the agenda is, it's all online there. So introduce to you some of the organizers for this event. I'm Marisa Torres. I'm one of the WiDS ambassadors. Mary Silva here is up front. And so what we do is we actually interact with the worldwide WiDS organization. So we've met ambassadors from around the world who are trying to have events like these, including promoting datathon and next gen events where we want to reach out to high schoolers and be able to bring together women to talk about our research. And if you don't know the history of WiDS, it started out at Stanford. And the reason why they started it is Margot Gerritsen, she said, was always invited as the single woman on a panel, for example. And it was just thinking, there are more women in data science. I'm going to find them. And so she started this event. And I started the event at Livermore because I felt the same way. I would only see a handful of women at different data science events. And I thought, okay, there are definitely more women here. And clearly there are a lot of women here. So this is very cool. And some allies in the back I see. Thank you very much for coming. So yes, this is an open invitation. If you want to help us continue building these kind of community building events and resources, come talk to us. We really want to hear your ideas. We've started different kinds of panels and things like that just to keep it going throughout the year. So this venue is new for us. You're starting out in this room, but throughout the day, we might move locations. We'll let you know as locations change for the mentoring sessions and also the posters. All of us organizers here are from different parts of Lawrence Livermore National Lab and representing computing as well as the Science Institute. And we all felt a passion to want to make this event happen. So as an ambassador, I mentioned I do get to attend global meetups where I meet women from around the world who are trying to promote these kind of events. And where they are, they might be the only female scientists, and it's a very challenging environment. So I feel very fortunate that here we have the support to be able to have this type of event. And I always say my first tip for having an event like this is to build a really good committee. So if you're trying to launch an event like this from wherever you are, please talk to me and I can, or anyone else on the committee, and we have advice about how you could get started. Introduction to some of our sponsors. Thank you, Data Science Institute. They helped us give us the organizing committee for this event, as well as the Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accountability Office at Livermore, really trying to improve our culture and computing, which a lot of us are computing. Wow. Notice we have 2 hashtags for this event, WiDS 2024 and WiDS at LLNL. If you're on social media and you want to follow this event throughout the day, or you want to post something, please use that hashtag. We'll follow along. Thank you to our sponsors. And now I'm going to give an opportunity for Mary to share about the datathon from a couple weeks ago. So the datathon is something where they worked on a challenge event.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi, I'm Mary. I was part of the organizing committee that for the WiDS datathon that was held 2 weeks ago. And it was the first year that we did the datathon as its own standalone event. Previous years, we had done it as a part of the computing hackathon, which was really successful and there was a lot of interest for it. So this year we decided to try to do it independently as its own event. This is also the second year that it was done hybrid in person, and there was a pretty good turnout. So I'm just going to kind of go over the highlights of the attendance and highlights of the events and the talks that were given. Yeah, so here's the organizing committee, a great team from different areas of the lab. As Marisa said, it's really great that we had people on the organizing committee from not just GSCAD as has been in the past, people from PLS and people from engineering that were able to really help with reaching out to everyone and inviting everyone to the event. So credit to Paige Jones, Jen Caceres, Anisha Developathy, Sarah Niley, Holly Otten, and Kendall Luna, that we definitely couldn't have done it without you all. And also just quickly highlight the amount of people that attended the event. So virtually there was about 44 people throughout the day for the talks and 46 people in person, which is the most successful event that we've had for WiDS Datathon. I think that's pretty good considering the capacity for the room was 46 people. So we were really like right on the nose there. And we got a lot of good feedback from everybody. I see a lot of people that attended the event. If you haven't responded to the questionnaire that was sent out, we appreciate it if you do respond, because it really helps us to get an idea of the things you enjoyed about the event and things that it could better in the future. Hope the event get. And so some of the speakers that came today or came that day was Dr. Bhavani Thirasingam. She presented a talk called Integrating Cybersecurity and Machine Learning Applications for Transportation Systems. The talk was really interesting and really engaging. It touched on a lot of important questions related to privacy and security for machine learning and AI, and definitely a benefit for people, the ESI groups, to be able to attend this event and to be able to hear what she had to say and ask questions and a lot of follow-up questions as well. So the talk was recorded, and we're hoping to post it on the WiDS ESI page very soon. And a lot of people were asking for the slides from that day and you know, her contact and all of that. And so hopefully we'll have the video up online so that everyone can access it and watch it. We also had a very successful Q&A panel with, it was hosted by Jen Caceres and featured Paige Jones, who are both, Paige Jones and Samantha Call, who are both Girls Who Code volunteers, and they also work with the STAGE program. And we also had Amelia Zezak. I hope I said your name right. I'm getting better. She's been a DSSI mentor for a couple of years now, and there was a lot of questions, a lot of interaction, just to know about their story, know what kind of data science problems that they're working on, and ask about, I think there were a lot of questions about their careers and how they got to where they are. And so that was really great to hear from them, and it was a good panel. And also, Anisha Devalapalli, as I said, she put together, she was part of the organizing committee, but on top of that, she also put together a WiDS Jupyter notebook for the datathon challenge problem. And she put a lot of work into it. And I think, you know, once the video is posted, it's something that the DSI will be able to use in the future. For anyone that wants to start data science, it was an introductory notebook. It went over a lot of the exploratory data analysis. It's did a basic model setup so that you can get started on the problem. And yeah, so she did a lot of work, put a lot of work into it, and hopefully that video will be useful for many people in the future that want to start working in data science. The data science, the datathon problem was actually related to healthcare and inequities in healthcare. And so it really highlighted disparities in income, household size, living situation, and the rates of early cancer diagnosis. So it was an interesting problem for a lot of people that have never done data science to look at data science, data health-related data problem. Yes. So thanks to Alicia for that. We didn't get too much feedback so far, but a lot of things that were highlighted in the questionnaire that stood out to us that we'd like to hopefully either improve on for next year or just continue to share with other groups that are planning events like this. Some people had mentioned for the datathon, it's part of the WiDS worldwide event. And so one of the things is to be able to submit to the Kaggle competition. It's really exciting to be able to submit. I've done it before and I didn't do very well, but it was kind of cool to like submit and see where you ranked on the leaderboard. So some people mentioned that it would be great if we could host it a little bit earlier, so a little more distance between today's event and the datathon, so people have time to make the submission. That was one comment that a lot of people were either mentioning or responding in the questionnaire that we should do. Another thing was a lot of people were very beginner and more beginner than we anticipated. So some people had never really programmed in Python, or they only programmed in, you know, R or MATLAB or something. So a lot of comments were related to maybe we can do an even more beginner friendly notebook for everyone. And so we're going to take that into consideration. I know the WiDS worldwide organization does put out codes and starter notebooks for various different programming languages. So maybe we'll try to integrate that next time. More involvement from the Girls Who Code high school students. We have asked them in the past to, this is the second year that we've invited them, and we had two high school students in total, which is really crazy to me that a high school student is already doing neural networks. And so the one high school student that attended was asking questions that we weren't really prepared to answer. You know, how many hidden layers, how to optimize for the number of hidden layers, how to optimize for, you know, certain learning rates and things like that. And so it was really unexpected to get those questions from a high school student, but like also super impressive. So
early recruiting opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. So we'd like to try to reach out to the Girls Who Code organization a little bit more and get them more involved. And another thing people mentioned was just more time for networking. We really wanted it to be more focused on the data challenge. So we didn't really reserve time for networking. We just kind of assumed it would be built into the interaction of working on the datathon problem together. So maybe, you know, more time for networking, another break in between the talks would be great as well. And then the last thing, just dividing the groups up by level of experience is something that we can do better. You know, just because you're a beginner programmer, that doesn't necessarily mean you're an early career person. And so what we should do next year is, instead of dividing people up by early career, divide people up by what their level of data science is. That way, people that are very beginners and just learning how to figure out what the Python code is actually doing, grouping them together, and the people that are more experienced in data science, grouping them together so they can actually build the model and try to get a better model at the end of it. And so those were just a couple of things that the feedback was, you know, a lot of the feedback was telling us that we could do just slight adjustments so that this event could be enjoyed by everyone a little better. But overall, you could see over 76% of the people that responded to the questionnaire, it was the first time that they had attended a WiDS Datathon event. And so that tells us a lot about what we're doing to reach out to people, and hopefully we can keep doing that. And overall Datathon experience was, you know, like 4.2. That's pretty good for us. You're never gonna please everybody, but you're gonna try to take everyone's suggestions so that you can raising that number. And I think everyone should on the organizing committee should be really proud of themselves. This was a really successful event, and hopefully we get to do it again in the future. That's it for me. I'm looking forward to the talks that are being held today. I'm looking forward to being able to meet with a lot of people, and feel free to ask me questions about this event, about past events, and anything like that. Thank you.